Hello and welcome in. Today I'd like to talk to you about cruising for the lowest price possible, catching sales, and generating big offers for future cruises. So, I am someone who hardly ever traveled, and I have taken 4 cruises within the past year, and I have 4 more coming up between now and April. People are always asking me, why do you keep going on cruises? Why don't you take destination vacations? And I actually have. I started off taking 2 trips, one to the Bahamas and the other to the Dominican Republic. And I determined that I'd like the Caribbean, but I didn't know where else I wanted to go. So I figured the best way for me to find out is to go on cruises because they allow you to go to multiple destinations at one time. So I want to share with you how I was able to do that. So, the first piece of advice I want to give you is to start planning as far in advance as possible. I would say give yourself 1 year, but most recently I was on Royal Caribbean's website and I saw that they already had cruises for January of 2027. So that gives you almost 2 years to plan. So if you need time off or you need to make payments, you have almost 2 years to do that. So planning far in advance increases the likelihood of you actually going on that trip. The second piece of advice I want to give you is to do your homework about cruises because there is lots of information to know. And a really good way to do that is by using a travel agent. People are under the impression that travel agents' commission is paid by you, the consumer, when in all actuality, cruise lines, resorts, and hotels pay commission to travel agents because they want your business. So they often give travel agents access to better rates and lots of different benefits that they can pass off to you because they want your business. So when you can, use a travel agent. Now, what some travel agents have recently started doing is charging quoting fees. Those quoting fees are anywhere from $25 to $75, and they're doing it because quoting takes time. And we know y'all like to waste people's time. You'll have people do a quote for you and then never call them back again, never tell them anything one way or the other. So now people are charging the quoting fees. So it's definitely understandable. I recently became a travel agent. The cost was $200, and I did it because I kept booking trips. And I'm like, I need to be making money from doing this. So I started to book trips, and I do it for my friends and close family members. So it's not something that I do for everyone, but it is nice to receive a commission check just for going on vacation. So if I book and other people book with me, I do receive commission, and I get lots of valuable information by doing so. Do my friends and family waste my time? Yes, they do, absolutely. But I have the benefit of being able to tell them no. But I'm sharing this information with you because if you're looking for an additional stream of income, consider being a travel agent because there's not a lot of money or costs incurred from the beginning to start up. And I will be happy to share any information I can with you about that. But today we're talking about saving money. So you're going to do the homework yourself. You can do that online. You can do that by watching TV or just looking at ads. But ultimately, you need to choose the cruise line that you will take your vacations on. And once you determine what that cruise line will be, subscribe to their emails so you can get all the discounts possible. Many times they will run sales that will be first 2 people full price, last 2 people free, or first person full price, second person 50% off, 66% off, all sorts of different discounts. And you want to make sure you're taking advantage of those. So you definitely want to subscribe to the email of the cruise line that you determine you want to travel with. The third piece of advice is to choose an older ship. Now, I know you see commercials for the new and shiny ones and they look really attractive, but those are often really expensive. So older ships are often refurbished and they're really reasonably priced. And you can also go online, look on YouTube and look at tours of cabins and cruise ships and see what they look like. And if they don't look good enough for you, you can pass and go to the next one. I did that before. I found a destination that I was really interested in and I went and looked at the ship and I'm like, that's too old. I can't do that. So I chose a different one and I did a tour of that and I'm like, I can bear with that. I can deal with that. That's really nice. So you need to do the same. The next piece of advice I'm going to give you is to choose a short trip. There are lots of very short trips that you can plan for 3 and 4 days. Those cruises are going to Mexico, the Bahamas, and different places throughout Florida. Cruise hubs are often also in Florida because it's surrounded by water, so there are ports all over different cities in Florida. Additionally, you will find cruise ports anywhere that there's water, so California, the lower part of Texas, New Orleans, up and down the East Coast, so any place that's surrounded by water. When you're choosing your cruise and you're selecting your port, keep in mind the proximity that you have to that port because you have to be able to get there. So if you're choosing one that's all the way across the country, the airfare could be really high. So choose one that's accessible to you and also consider the time of year that you're traveling. If you're traveling during the winter months and there's a snowstorm, if you miss that cruise ship, it's going to leave you. It's going to. So you don't want that to happen. So you want to choose one that's kind of close by so you can get to it maybe a day before, and you don't want to pay a lot of money to do so. So choose the cruise port accordingly. Also, keeping in mind that hurricane season is from June 1st until November 30th. So if you're planning cruises during that time, remember that there could be hurricanes. Remember any inclement weather and the fact that you need to arrive early to catch that cruise. The next thing to consider is an inside cabin. Inside cabins are also going to be very low price. If you're someone that's susceptible to motion sickness or you think you'll get seasick, an inside cabin might be for you. If you're somebody that stays out of the room and you only use it for sleeping, consider an inside cabin. When you're looking at cruises and you see rates and they look really attractive, most of the time they are for inside cabins. However, consider what is going to make you happy. Some people are claustrophobic and inside cabins are not for you if you are. I like to look out the window, so at the very least I need an ocean view. So pick what's going to work for you. Remember that we're using cost saving strategies anyway, so you may be able to cut costs in some other areas. But choose what's going to make you happy because ultimately this is a vacation and you do want to enjoy yourself. Next, I want to talk to you about kids because cruises are very kid friendly. They often have designated areas for children every day and they are free. So about 10 years ago, I went on a Carnival cruise. My son was 6 and I did want him to go somewhere, but I'm a helicopter mom. I'm like, I'm not sending my kid anywhere. I don't know the people. But what I went and did is observed one of those areas and he watched the kids play and he's like, I want to go there. So he went and he came back the next day with his face painted. Every day he did different arts and crafts. It's very much like camp. He had the best time and it was free. So keep that in mind when you're booking travel, especially on cruises. Additionally, if you're a night person and you want to go to the casino, you want to go to the clubs, you want to do karaoke, you want to do all the things, they have the same services available at night. Usually there's a nominal cost for nighttime care for kids, but it is there, so keep that in mind. Now I want to talk about Carnival again because it has been controversial in the past. And when I went on that Carnival cruise, it was for my cousin's 50th birthday, so there were a bunch of family members. We had a lot of fun. The ship was a little bit old, and I didn't know anything about cruises at that time, so I wanted to send text messages, and it was $25 a text message. I didn't know about beverage packages and we had lemonade every day. I was tired of that. It just overall, it was fun, but it wasn't the best experience. So I felt like cruises aren't for me. But somewhere along the line, randomly, I started back up again. And my aunt is always taking Carnival cruises. And she keeps saying, go on a Carnival cruise, go on a Carnival cruise. So we did book a Carnival cruise on Mardi Gras. And we just came back on February 23rd. And we had the best time ever. The ship was beautiful from top to bottom. It was built in 2021. Obviously, it's Mardi Gras themed, so it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of partying. It is tons of food. There are so many restaurants. We didn't even get to eat at them all. My cabin was beautiful. It had the best balcony. I had spa access. It was just a good time because I'm more knowledgeable now. I had a beverage package, I had an internet package, and I had all the things that make me happy when I'm cruising. So it was a wonderful experience, and it completely changed my opinion about Carnival Cruise Lines. And now I have two more cruises with Carnival coming up. So that's why I'm talking to you about Carnival, because they are very affordable. Now let's talk about some of the things people say about Carnival, because there were kids running all over that ship. They were little. They were unattended. Their parents must have thought that Carnival did the babysitting. It was wild. And more importantly, I'm like, why aren't y'all in school? I'm thinking we're booking in February. These kids are going to be in school. The kids were on the ship. And there was a lot of them. But it was still fun. It was still a great time. I would do it again in a heartbeat. But I want to tell you, if you want to avoid that, then book when kids are in school. Rates are higher anyway when kids are out of school. So in the summertime, cruises are going to be expensive. They are going to start getting expensive around the end of May, and they are going to remain expensive until the kids go back to school. They're going to be expensive for Thanksgiving and Christmas and spring break. So keep that in mind. So if you're someone who does not want to be bothered with any kids other than your own, choose to cruise during the times that they are in school, because the rates are going to be way better anyway. And keep in mind that we are choosing 3 and 4 day cruises. So if you're choosing a cruise that also coincides with the weekend, then your kids are only missing 1 or 2 days of school. So you can go on Carnival after all. The next thing I want to talk to you about is Carnival's customer service, because it is impeccable. It is stellar. As a travel agent, I have to call the cruise lines a lot, and Carnival by far has the best phone customer service. Every time I call in, the person that I'm speaking with is friendly and knowledgeable, and they are giving me lots of good information that I need. The next piece of information is something that I got from a Carnival cruise agent, and that is the casino offers. I am not a gambler. I'm not a casino person. When I went on that cruise 10 years ago, I went down to that casino and there was so much smoke in there, I never went back again. There was so much smoke that I never went back to the casino on any of the 4 cruises I've been on in the past year, because I cannot stand smoke. So I said, no, I'm not going to the casino. And that woman told me that there are designated smoking areas in the casino. You can't smoke all over the casino anymore. So I considered it, because my aunt is a gambler. So she said, come down to the casino with me. I'll help you. So one thing the casino host also told me is that she could not tell me how much money I had to spend or exactly what to do to generate those casino offers. She just told me to get down there. So I decided myself that I would go twice a day, and I was going to set $100 limit for myself. And that's what I did. Sometimes I went for as little as 10 minutes. Others, I was there for as long as 45 minutes. But I made sure I set a budget. So when I sat down, I'd say, I'm not going to go any higher than $20. So my aunt told me how to play roulette, and I wound up enjoying it. So I played by myself. So I went sometimes without her, and I stuck to those limits. So when I reached $20, I would get up and leave. So that's why sometimes I was only there for 10 minutes. And I have to admit that occasionally I did slide a 5 or a 10 or a 20 into that machine. So at the end, I wound up spending about $160, but I generated casino offers. So within a week of getting back from that cruise, I had some casino offers in my email. And that was the whole reason I went on Carnival to begin with. I wanted to get that savings. So get down to the casino, whether or not you're a gambler. I'm not telling you to become one, but it's just something that's fun. And if you're disciplined and don't spend a lot of money, it's something you'll be able to do, and you'll be able to actually save. Because I did cash out at the end, and I did bring home a little bit of money. I didn't wind up spending as much as I thought I did. But consider it if you can. I'd also like to add that I have spoken with customer service for every cruise line that I've traveled on, and there was one that was so bad that I was actually reluctant to go on the cruise. I'm like, if this is what the customer service is like, what is the service on the ship going to be like? But it was great. So every cruise that I've been on has had impeccable face-to-face service once I was on the trip. So don't worry about that. But the reason I'm suggesting Carnival is because if you're cruising for the first time, you'll have lots of questions and you do want to speak with someone that's going to get you excited about the trip. And that is one thing they will do. Next, I want to talk to you about financing because we talked about planning in advance. So, cruise lines do offer direct financing and they can do it for you monthly. So, often you'll have to pay a down payment and then they can arrange a monthly payment schedule. Within that payment schedule, they can also include cruise protection, which I recommend 100% of the time. You never know what's going to happen, and in the event that there's an emergency, you want to get your money back. So, definitely budget for cruise protection. It's often roughly around $125 per person. Another thing that you can include in financing is gratuity. Gratuity is a per person per day charge regardless of age. Gratuity is something you're going to pay on cruises, you're going to pay it at hotels and resorts. So go back and look at your receipts and look at how much gratuity you've been paying. But you can finance that through the cruise line as well. The most important thing to know about financing through the cruise line is that final due date. They are going to give it to you in the very beginning. Write it down, take a picture, put it in your phone, post it on the refrigerator, put it everywhere. Because if you do not make that final payment by that date, they are going to cancel that cruise. And I know because our Mardi Gras cruise got canceled. Yeah, it got canceled. I was the travel agent and our cruise got canceled. So I called in and I'm like, what's going on? Why can't I find my cruise? And they're like, you didn't pay it by that final due date. So they were able to reinstate it, but I had to pay off the balance of both cruises in order for them to do that. So keep that in mind if you're going to use the cruise lines financing. There is third-party financing available for cruises through Uplift and Affirm, and you can also include all of the options I just told you about in those payments or for that loan. You can also include other things, other costs that you may incur with your cruise, like your airfare, your beverage package, your specialty dining, your internet, your excursions. So any cost that you may incur as a result of that cruise can be lumped into that loan through Affirm or Uplift. The only negative is that it is credit based, so there will be interest on it. So keep that in mind. I did do it one time just because I wanted to see what the process looked like for people that I was doing quotes for and who I was booking cruises for, and I paid it off right away. Like I paid it off when I had a bonus check. So if you get like a big tax return or you have employment that allows bonus structures or something like that and you want to finance, just keep that in mind. It is an additional way to be able to pay. And the final way that I want to tell you about in terms of saving money is from loyalty points. So Carnival's loyalty program is called the VIFP program. So they assign you a number at the time that you book your cruise, and they give one to your kids also. And you start off as blue, and then I believe for your second cruise you're red, and then after you've cruised for 25 days you get to gold. And this is important because as you get to each status you get so many benefits. So you'll get free drinks, laundry service, concierge service, limousine service to and from the ship, expedited check-in and check-out service, a different customer service line when you're on the ship. You get things I never even thought about with those different levels. So that is what really made me want to stick to one cruise line so I could get some of those benefits, and most importantly, get it for your kids. Like I said, there were little kids running around that Carnival ship with VIFP numbers, and they were probably diamond and platinum. So make sure your kids are getting those numbers when you're booking vacations so you can get the full savings and so they can benefit from it as you travel and they get older. Um, Royal Caribbean did not automatically assign my son a number. Theirs is called the Crown and Anchor Society number. So I had to call back and let them know that he never got it. And when they assigned it to him, he did get credit for the 2 cruises that we took. So again, make sure you're getting that. And I would encourage you to do that for airlines as well. Go back, make sure your kids are signed up for those frequent flyer miles so you are getting all the savings that you possibly can. I have to add that we have a cruise coming up with Celebrity, and I tried to call in and get him a number, and they told me they don't do it for minors. So I told them we won't be back to Celebrity until he turns 18. So if you're not saving money, that may not be a cruise line that you want to consider. But obviously, they probably don't want a lot of kids on there anyway. But that's okay. We're still gonna go. But recap of everything we've discussed. First, plan in advance so you have enough time to make your payments, plan your time off. Second, stay loyal to one cruise line. Subscribe to their emails so you can get all the information about discount offers. Choose a short voyage on an older ship, a 3 or 4 day cruise on a refurbished ship that you've looked at and done tours of virtually, and you know that it's nice and you can be excited about it. If you can, the inside cabin, also going to save you some money. Next, the most controversial thing on the list is the casino. If you can get down there, do it. It's fun. I'm addicted to it. Finally, the loyalty points. Make sure you're signing up for them and getting them. Make sure you come to the comment section and let me know if I missed anything. I am new to travel, so I am definitely wanting to learn everything I possibly can. If there's anything you're interested in knowing, let me know. I'm glad to do a video for you. The next one is going to be about cruises versus destination voyages. And I'm going to tell you about all of my experiences on all the cruise lines, and then you'll be able to determine which ones you like. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. Glad you are here, and I hope to see you on a cruise in the future.